OK, before we get on to who's not good enough, what about the players they have to keep? Starting off with David De Gea. Now, obviously, there's a huge news around David De Gea. It's almost daily now, his contract situation, etc., that he wants £500,000. Alexis Sanchez is on £350,000. Manchester United had the second highest wage bill in the entire world, bettered only by Barcelona. And I think a huge chunk of that goes to Lionel Messi, and you can probably understand why, because he's Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
So for Manchester United, did they break the bank and pay him that much? Because I don't even think it's an issue of making him the highest paid player in the club. I think they're willing to do that. But to pay him £150,000 more than Sanchez, that's making a statement, and it sets a precedent, doesn't it?
Well, just a bit, because like you've just said, if he gets it, then everyone else is going to want it. So that's that. I mean, whether the figure is exactly 500,000, I'm not sure. I'm not privy to that, but it seems like a lot. I think it might be a bit less, being honest. If you know, because that's maybe.
Let's just say it's 450 though.
He'll want to get more than what Sanchez is getting, won't he? Because he's the best player. He's the one player who's probably worth the most points to Man United at the moment, isn't he? It's him. But like you say, if you give him it, then they'll all want it, and that's what happens, and it breeds that throughout the club. It shouldn't be like that, but that's the way the world at the moment.
Yeah, it is absolutely crucial, in my opinion, that Manchester United keep De Gea. If they lose him, who are they going to replace him with? You know, if you look at the best keepers, and in my opinion, Alisson at Liverpool, Arrizabalaga at Chelsea, for example, maybe Lloris at Spurs, but you're then looking at somebody like Barcelona, Ter Stegen, for example. What's he going to cost you? He's 26 years of age. Navas or Courtois at Real Madrid. Or Black, Atletico, 26 years of age. You know, what sort of money are you going to have to pay for them? So, and De Gea is proven in the Premier League. He's proven at Manchester United. So I think if there's a player you need to break the bank for at Old Trafford, for me, it would be De Gea.
It's interesting you point out Real Madrid, because that's the club that he's linked to move to. So you would think they're not going to keep Navas, Courtois and De Gea if Real Madrid were to sign him. Obviously, this is a big if. And previously, when the fax machine broke and he didn't move to Real Madrid, what was it, 3-4 years ago, Navas was supposed to go the other way. Now, this is a player that's won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. He's obviously got pedigree himself.
Because he's playing for Real Madrid.
He's playing for Real Madrid. But you look at some of the defending and you realise the amount of saves that he made.
Yeah.
It's been a lot.
No, he's an outstanding goalkeeper.
Because they love Navas there. Yeah. And that's why Zidane has put him back in the team.
It's a must that Man United keep De Gea. If he goes, honestly...
But do you break the bank for him?
I would. He's that good.
You would pay him 500,000?
Well, whether it is that figure, but you have to keep him. You can't get rid of him.
Well,
he's the best player.
If he goes on a free, because he lets the contract runs down and he ultimately goes on a free, which obviously won't happen this summer, but if he does, then you've got to spend the best part of 100 million on a repllessment, haven't you?
The same as buying
before you pay a wage.
Yeah, correct.
I read an interview. It was actually a very frank and very honest interview of Edward within the last 2 weeks. I can't remember which day exactly, but he did talk about this and the precedent it sets, because suddenly other players who you want to buy, let's supposing you're a player right now. Yeah. Actually, you're a bad example because you're Liverpool. Gary, Manchester United want to buy a 23-year-old Gary. You're at Tottenham. You're enjoying football. You're enjoying life. You hear De Gea is getting 500,000. Spurs, let's say, paying you 80. Now, you could say, if they're paying him 500, I want 200. It's not just a question of the players there, but players that they want to sign.
It's a difficult business managing the finances of a major football club in today's climate.
I mean, I tell you what, I'll be very surprised if people like Pogba haven't got in the contract. If someone goes above me on a wage, that I get the same or more. In this day and age, with some of the agents that are knocking around in world football, that must be happening, because it's ruthless, and that's what it's like.
So you both think that United should pay De Gea whatever he wants?
I would. I'd keep him. He's the best, isn't he?
Rather than him potentially go on a free transfer, for
100%.
sure.
Okay, interesting.